Hello again, rail fans. I got some new signs back there on the fence. These are from Rod Robinson in Arcata, California. Now that private crossing sign back there is exactly what it says. It identifies a private railroad crossing and warns you to be extra careful going over it. Now, I've never seen one that's done quite like that, so much appreciated on that one. Also, there's California's version of stop close clearance signs that we have down here. You know, the ones that are basically stop signs, and they say stop, dismount, or the signs that say will not clear man on side of car. Well, that's the California version, impaired side clearance. Both of those from Rod Robinson in Arcata, California, and very much appreciated. Now, I get a lot of emails and comments from folks asking pretty much the same kind of question. How do you find the trains when you go out rail fanning? Whenever I go out, I wait for hours and sometimes I never see anything. Well, my videos don't show it, but that's happened to me an awful lot too. But it wouldn't be very interesting to put that in videos. The way I reduce my odds of coming home with nothing in the camera is preparation and research. I have spent years and years buying timetables and maps and atlases and things that will orient me toward an area and show me where the railroad stuff is. You can get a lot of it online. I'm not up to speed on a lot of it, but because I've got all this paper research with me, but there are plenty of places to get that information online. Now, the other important thing, and I know I harp on this a lot, it's the radio. The radio is your best source of current intel on railroad operations. You can listen to the radio. Once you get used to it, once you learn the jargon, once you learn the places they're talking about, that can really help you get to where the trains are and be there when they come by. Once you're familiar with your area, start listening for mentions of those places on the radio, and you'll be a better rail fan, and you'll have better luck when you go out. Let's take a look at a typical Saturday morning for me. Early on a Saturday, I'm headed out toward the CSX main lines between Tampa, Plant City, and the Bone Valley. I'm looking for anything moving, and after hearing several trains way out at Lakeland, something closer to me lights up the radio.
L730 924 Miller, Circle Line 1A, main track, south direction. NAS East Tampa on the main track. The AZA 916.8 on the main track.
Okay, I know exactly where this guy is going. That dispatcher just gave train 0700 track authority from East Tampa down to the AZA 916.8. That's a milepost location. East Tampa is on the main track running from Yeoman Yard to Bradenton, and the AZA 916.8 is the switch for Tropicana Yard in Bradenton. This line runs parallel to US 41 along Tampa Bay's eastern shore. Now, he's just now pulling from the yard, so I know I can pick a spot somewhere along US 41 and have time to set up for him. That's what I'll do. About 5 more miles and we're in a neighborhood known as East Tampa. There's a big phosphate plant here called Mosaic Riverview. It's been here for decades under several different owners. All those hopper and gondola cars are for the one customer here, Mosaic. I turn into a crossing I suspect will be pretty light on road traffic, US 41 and old US 41. This is signal territory, but the signals end up there at the switch for East Tampa Yard. It's dark territory from here on to end of track in Bradenton. Old US 41's main attraction is East Bay Raceway, a dirt track that's been here for at least 40 years when I came to town. But 2024 is its last season. The owner says he's losing money and can't keep it up. Sad. Another few minutes and here's L730, a daily local switcher that works a dozen or more customers along this route. Today, though, he's making a straight shot to Bradenton. There are no gates at this crossing, so the bells ring the whole time the lights are activated. On 0700's head end are almost always Tropicana refrigerated boxcars returning empty to Bradenton. This crew will likely come back north later today with an equal number of loaded Tropicana cars. So that's how you can be pretty sure of getting something when you're out there. Do your research on a line to learn some locations and listen out on your radio for any chatter about those locations. Now, I don't want to chase this train down to Bradenton, so I'll start heading eastward toward Lakeland and the Bone Valley. I heard that dispatcher talk earlier to a couple of trains in that area, so we'll go that way. While driving east on I-4, I hear a likely candidate getting track time.
83404, 83404, 123023, SVC 851.2, B33930, 7266. Penske copy. Center line 1A, main track, north direction. South Bradley yard limit on the main track. North Welcome yard limit on the main track. Over.
Off I-4, I go south on County Line Road and into the Bone Valley, passing Nichols on the way to Edison. Nichols was at one time a community built around the phosphate industry. There were mines and a big IMC Agrico processing plant. What's left of that is still out there, rusting away and slowly collapsing in on itself. I pull into sleepy little Edison, just a mile and a half up the line from Welcome, that place we heard the dispatcher reference earlier. Edison is where the once busy Valrico sub intersects the Brewster sub that runs south from here, past Mosaic's giant New Wales plant, then to Bradley Junction and Ag Rock and Arcadia. After waiting about 40 minutes, our train finally shows up, B33930. The B prefix is for bulk commodity, in this case, phosphate wet rock. 339 makes a daily run between the washer at Ag Rock near the mines and the big processing plant we saw earlier at East Tampa. Edison is right on the edge of a good-sized strawberry field. It's late December, and the strawberries all over the area are almost ready for harvest. Amtrak is one of the easiest trains to catch because it's a passenger train, and they, by design, have to run on a schedule, on a specific route. Now, Amtrak is not always punctual, but mostly they're pretty dependable. So I went to another spot I know, the old Seaboard Coastline passenger station in Lakeland. All that's left of it is the concrete platform and the yellow line on it. This is at milepost 851.8 on the ex-ACL main from Richmond, Virginia to Tampa, Florida, what we now call the A-Line. Here is Amtrak's Silver Star, numbered 91, coming out of its Tampa stop and slowing down for its Lakeland stop just ahead over the hill. Just like that, he's gone. South Lakeland, which is now the name of the signal here, is an example of the oddities in railroad signaling that are sometimes hard to understand until you delve into the purpose of each signal and its location. South Lakeland is the north end of double track here, where the number 2 main, the one on the right, merges into the single main, the one on the left. This is why the signals for each track are different. I assume that right-hand signal has the lone fixed red light on top because it cannot give a high green or a straight approach here, because of the turnout ahead. That's just my guess. Notice also there are 4 lights on the bottom head, because one of those is likely a lunar white for restricting, an indication that allows one train to very carefully follow another into the block at slow speed and enough distance to stop ahead of any obstruction. By this time, I'm hearing something on the radio that's close by, and I know the train and the place.
M45230, over.
45230, go ahead.
Yes, sir, we need to get that BV main, get the bottom of our train, please.
The BV main is what the railroad calls the main line through Winston Yard to the south end. When I get there, M452 is pulling northward out of the yard. I see someone I know working as a conductor on this job, Ronnie Sally out of Jacksonville. He and his engineer are tripling their train today. That means pulling long cuts of cars out of yard tracks and stacking them together on the main line. Apparently 3 long cuts in 3 different yard tracks. It takes a while to make up a train this way, half an hour at least. Fortunately, Ronnie has the assist of a rail crew van that will shuttle him to the coupling points along the length of the train. They must wait for the yard signal before backing in. This one also has that lone red light on top. I think it's a fail-safe to ensure a stop aspect in case the lower one is burned out. And there's our lunar restricting signal. Ronnie can now start the backup.
All tracks got a restricted signal. Jason track clear, start shoving, starts off at 20 on 20. I got a restricted signal. The other ride, start off 20.
Conductor Ronnie calls to start the shove, but he waits to climb up until the train starts moving, thereby avoiding the violent jolt as the slack runs in. Ronnie will ride the bottom all the way to the second cut, about a half mile down into the yard. When he gets down there, he'll dismount and over the radio count the engineer in feet down to the joint.
A little bit more 10. 5. All good, 7.
Westbound 767, go to 32, talking there.
Now, we've seen 452 dozens of times, maybe over 100, I don't know, but today's M452 here at Winston may be the most interesting train of the day because of what he's had to do to assemble this 9,200-foot train up and back and up and back. And let me tell you, the traffic out here on the old Tampa Highway, they ain't none too happy about it. Finally, after 25 minutes of this tedious but necessary procedure, M452 is solid and ready for departure. All that's left is the radio job briefing with the dispatcher.
Lead engine today is a CSXT 3016. The trailing engine is CSXT 5491. Both of them has about 2,900 gallons of fuel. We are Older Sally on duty at 12:30. Got bulletin number 63975 with 25 messages. We got tonnage is 8515. Length 9171. We got 33 loads and 99 empties. We're not a key train today. PTC and trip bottom is working, and the calendar day inspection has been done on both engines.
Then arming the end of train device.
25 on the bottom there, 3016.
Yeah, that's what I'm showing. 75 on the rear.
All right, drop my 3. I'm in the clear. If you want to go ahead and fuzz that JF for the brief for him, I'll meet you at Wabash. So.
Wabash means Wabash Avenue, the next crossing up the hill on the main line. Conductor Ronnie will get the rail crew van to take him up there and meet the head end of the train. As M452 climbs the hill toward Lakeland Junction, Ronnie calls for an under 4 step-on.
I'll be catching up on the 4 there, 3016.
All right, I'll be on the 4.
This is slang for slowing the train to less than 4 miles an hour so he can safely step aboard the locomotive. This procedure saves a lot of time versus bringing the train to a full stop and then getting it all rolling again. Sometimes it's not very easy on this uphill grade. A wave goodbye from conductor Ronnie, and M452 is on its way. With no work to do in Wildwood, their next stop will be Waycross, Georgia, sometime later tonight. My next move was to head home until the radio piped up and said, "There's one more train coming your way." Being this late in the day, I knew it was Amtrak 92. So I lit down at a spot that longtime friends of the channel will recognize, though the signal appliances have changed a little and the passenger train is going in the opposite direction.
Track engine 13 south, clear. Distance, plan C, hold up.
It's still an approach lit signal, though this side doesn't light up until the train is almost past. Amtrak trains still carry the red rear marker lights as per the rules, and most of the newer Viewliner and Superliner cars have the brake indicator lights on the side. Green for brakes released, yellow for brakes applied. The crew in the cab can see those lights in their rearview mirrors. Oh, and I almost forgot. Lunch at this outing was at a Lakeland place that I've heard people raving about for a while. Lovebird, almost famous fried chicken down on South Florida Avenue. I'd bet $1 that this place started out life as a Texaco gas station, maybe in the 1960s. It was just before noon and there was already a line out the door, and all the tables were full. That's always a good sign. I got a quarter chicken white, fried chicken the way Grandma used to fry it, though this had more spices than Grandma ever used. Excellent, excellent fried chicken. Baked beans and Gouda mac and cheese, all delicious. Out the door with tax, it was $11.18. Lovebird is now on my have-to list whenever visiting Lakeland. One other thing, Lovebird is at 2101 South Florida Avenue in Lakeland, just in case you're in the area and looking for it. Can't recommend it enough. Excellent fried chicken. Now, that train finding resource I mentioned in the beginning is called openrailwaymap.org. It works on your computer or on your phone, has a remarkable amount of information on it. Names of subdivisions, maximum authorized speeds, siding types, signal locations and names. Really good stuff. I don't think he's got all railroad lines in there, but what he does have is really pretty thorough and right. Check it out, openrailwaymap.org. Now, I don't usually give shout outs to other YouTubers just because there's so many of them and it would just take up my whole show. But this guy is really special and I really owe him a shout out. Practical Engineering. I don't know where he gets all his ideas, but my friend Grady can explain complicated systems and inventions better than anyone I have ever seen. He does lots of railroad-oriented videos, plus everything else related to engineering and mechanics, from what happens when a rail car runs over a pair of pliers to how they designed and built the Panama Canal. Check it out, Practical Engineering on YouTube. You will absolutely love it, I promise you. Well, thanks for joining me on this little outing. I hope you know something now that you didn't know before, and if not, I hope you just enjoyed the show. Hit that like button if you did. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. And let's plan to meet up again somewhere out there on the high iron very soon. Until we do, this is Danny Harmon, out.